based pedagogy. In that, we are focusing on learning objectives, what, why, how, why we need PBL and why we need PBL, and how we can achieve that learning outcomes through this practice. It's a pedagogical case study I want to discuss today. Already published pedagogy case study as well as what we are practicing at our institute. The same procedure we are going to discuss today. It's coming to the today's topics. What is project-based learning and types of project-based learning, how many ways we can implement project-based learning, how PBL can be established, how to make that practice, how to construct that model with good characteristics, uh, and along with that, what are the key elements existed in the PBL practice, and the goals of project-based learning, why we need PBL, and along with that, use case on single course and as well as the multiple courses. Single course, what we have taken as the base for this practice, I discuss first that course and later I go with the how we have incorporated at our institute to implement project-based learning pedagogy. We all know still many sessions are completed. So everyone are discussing about, especially Satish Kumar sir, he has given lot of awareness on what is the deeper learning and what is the critical thinking, how to make more effective in this learning practices. Many topics are has discussed very effective way. Um, Maybe in engineering, in each and every class, maybe it's not possible, but we can come out with few of the practices what are suggested with those practices. Here, once if you go with what is project based learning, the basic question, it's a student centered multidisciplinary pedagogy in which students acquire a deeper knowledge through active exploration of real world challenges and problems. The definition itself is giving a lot of guideline about how to implement our PBL. Definitely, it's a student centered. So the practices what we are going through PBL, it should be student centered, and it's a multidisciplinary pedagogy. Definitely, it is not related to a single course or single discipline. Definitely, once if you are going with any exploration of the real world problems or real world challenges, definitely it includes, incorporates multidisciplinary things. So in which students, what students get the benefit? A deeper knowledge through how they will get that deeper knowledge through active exploration of real world challenges and problems. So in the implementation also, we need to be consider all these parts as the guidelines. How to provide that deeper knowledge for them and what type of active participation in terms of the real world challenges and problems is possible. So in that way, we have done a lot of exercise. Now I would like to discuss the same scenario, what we have implemented at our institute. So through these, students will learn about a subject by working for an extended period to investigate and respond to a complex question, challenge, or problem. So any of these, either it's a complex problem or it's a challenge or it's a problem, if they are working with an extended period to investigate some solution to any of these type of problems. So in this scenario, what as a course, what we are providing as a learning, any of the learning pedagogy, it's a classroom teaching or blended teaching, what teaching process we have adopted, through that, what extent of the knowledge we are providing to the student, that should be extended for investigating and providing a solutions to the complex problem or challenge or question, complex question. So here we have to motivate our students towards that direction. So in this PBL practice, first the basic challenge is why should we do all these things? We have the course, we have the syllabus, we are writing exams, it's enough. But once if you want to implement this, the first challenge is opposition from the students. That's what that's what in regular practice also we have faced, in studies of the research also saying the same. So to overcome that, how to come out with that mindset to active participation towards a complex level of the problem or challenge, um, providing the solution towards that direction. So here instructional methodology it is providing a instructional methodology which encouraging students to learn by applying knowledge and skills through an engaging experience. So we can define our PBL as a instructional methodology by encouraging students to learn by applying knowledge skills through an engaging experience. So it presents opportunities for deeper learning in context for the development of important skills which are tied to college as well as career readiness. This is what the basic definition of PBL itself. Many of the industries also suggesting this is one of the good pedagogy we can implement at our students level to reach that industry needed skills, to reach that industry needed skills. So here the it presents that opportunities. What it presents here is the project based learning. So here once we say this is one of the pedagogy, is it possible to apply on each and every course where we have to apply this PBL? It's a big question. Which course we can add that PBL practice, or which course or a group of courses can be assigned this, mm, can we adopt this PBL learning? So here all these questions we are going through, at what level we are implementing our project based learning. So here the types of project based learning basically are considered as challenge based or problem based, otherwise place based, activity based. So suppose if you want to go with an implementation of our courses through a laboratory exercise, through a set of activities, then that also comes under the project based learning. It is a superset. Under that, all these are included. It's activity based learning is sufficient for that course. We can adopt that. That comes under a course which is associated with laboratory exercises. Next, place-based learning. Suppose as a demographics, if you want to analyze or if you want to focus a specific problems at a specific place, location-based learning. So in that place, suppose if you take our campus, at our campus level, what are the core problems or challenges are there? How to provide the solutions? Through our learned courses, if you encourage our students, through your learned courses, can you provide any solutions to that? This is what the set of challenges existed at our institute or at our location or at our city. Is it provide any solutions to those problems? That's what the place-based learning. When if you go with the problem-based learning, a certain problem if you take for that, what are the associated things they need to learn and they need to come out with a solution for that specific problem. So here in this problem-based learning, place-based learning, activity-based learning, the learning skill is some extent order, in a specific order. Activity-based learning, its scope is very less. Once if you go with a place-based learning, the extent of the scope of learning is more. Why? Because he has to know about that place, and the place incorporated challenges and the challenges associated technologies and the courses, and then he can come out with a suitable solution. Now next level, problem based. When we are going with the problem based or challenge based learning, definitely it has some set of the solutions, so he need to do certain level of the study on that, then only he need to come out with some solution. So all these are a level wise solutions, a level wise learning scope is existed among activity based learning to challenge based learning. Once if we are talking about the project based learning, then definitely they need to incorporate all these things. It needs a set of activities. It needs to address the what place they're addressing, they're addressing in that project. and what challenges is included in that, which problem they are addressing. Everything they need to address at project-based learning. So here, one, why we all these are required, at what time we need to discuss about a project-based learning. It's a big question here. So once if you know our Bloom's taxonomy, cognitive levels of our students, what we are considering to evaluate to assess our students, the basic level, remember, right? Remember, understand, up to apply levels. So here just we are recalling the facts and the basic concepts, are explaining ideas and concepts, are using information in new situations. Suppose if a description of question is there, a problem is there, then what basic formula, mathematical formula, or basic concept of their courses they need to recall, and they need to explain, and where they need to apply to that specific problem. Up to that level of the questions, anyhow we are going with our normal assessment process in CIE and SEE exams. Once if you go beyond that, then that analyze, evaluate, create, to do that level of the assessments, to provide a scope to uh, uh, analyze this scope to learn such level of the concepts. Definitely we need to adopt project based learning. So here for that intention, once if you want to draw the connection among the ideas, or justify a stand or decision, or produce new or original work. So once if you are if they provide a solution to a challenge, or they provide a solution to the problem, then definitely they are producing a new work, or they are giving their original work. So that is what the create level of the cognitive skill they achieved through that. That's what one way of the higher order skills where we can assess. So because of that reason, we definitely it requires to adopt a few of the sort of the project based learning practices. So here, what is the course basic goal of the students, and to reach that, what they need to do under PBL? The first foremost thing is, what is the student's role? Student centric. We are saying project based learning is student centric. So once if you talk like that, what is the student's role in this pedagogy? What is the faculty role? We don't call here as faculty, a instructor role and student role. So what student role is? He has to ask the questions, build the knowledge, and determine a real world solution to the issue or question presented. So he has to dig out about the problem. So how they know the problem? If he started asking questions, then he can find the problems what are existed in his surroundings or in his environment or in the society. Then he has to start building of the knowledge. That knowledge includes the domain knowledge as well as the knowledge which is required to provide the solution. And along with that, he determines a real world solution. That is what the end part of his role. So the total role of the student is divided into asking questions, means finding a problem. Next, building knowledge, whatever skills are required to work with that project, that knowledge, it includes a domain as well as the technology. Next, providing a real world solution to the problem or question. So these three parts includes many things. So when a huge set of activities are included, definitely the scope of learning is also at higher levels. That's what the basic foundation for this project-based learning. Next, what students should do in this process? He is defining the project. Maybe everyone will have in the oscillating situation. We all are doing mini project, main project. Many things are there in project related. Why again this project based learning pedagogy is needed? once if I complete my whole scenario of the presentation, definitely all these questions will address. Once the starting of the project scenario to project based learning scenario, where these students are playing which role, where students are playing which role, and what they are doing in that, and what finally they are providing as the result. All these are included as a step by process in the whole scenario of project based learning. So here what students need to do, what students need to do. He has to collaborate with the others, with the peers, or with the hires, and expanding their active listening skills. That's very essential. Expanding their active listening skills and engage in intelligent, focused communication, allowing them to think and how to solve problems. Allowing them to think and how to solve problems. So here in this whole scenario, there is no role of the instructor. There is no restrictions of the instructor. Just what instructor need to do here, I will tell in the next slide. Here students need to do, he has to collaborate with others and expand his active listening skills and engage in intelligent and focused communication. That's very, very essential in the present days, and allowing them to think about how to solve the problems. So we should not give any inputs, or we should not force the students, you have to do in this way. You have to do in this way, or this is only enough for doing this. There is no such sort of the restrictions here. From problem identification and the methodology identification, and at the end the solution what they are providing, the in every step he has to work and he has to find the solutions. So they, in this there is no intervention of the faculty at any moment. Next, what he is achieving through this PBL, to take ownership of their success. That's what the end outcome of this whole scenario of the projects based learning. So when once if any student is engaged in PBL, ultimately at the end he feel very proudly about, this is my own success. In this no one are involved. That's what our motivation we have to provide to our students also. Definitely it needs lot of activities, and those activities are purely from students only. That's why we are saying this is a student centric pedagogy. So everything student only need to take a decision, need to find the possibilities, and need to find the solution. So at the end what he achieves is uh, he take that ownership of his own success. It's that is what the a whole scenario of the PBL in the perspective of the student. Next, what are the major goals that project-based learning pedagogy is saying? Here, they need to develop creative thinkers. Where is that create is the higher order skill, topmost skill. So this cognitive level of the skill should be provided through this PBL practice. So through this, the first goal is we have to develop creative thinkers. How it is possible? With the projects, with the passion, with the peace and play. So if they are ready to execute all these four ways, then definitely they comes under the creative thinkers level. Next, cultivate creativity. That is very, very important. This formula is there. Okay, I have applied on this problem. I find this solution. I got the 100 as an answer. Okay, it's correct. That nothing is creative included in that. So here PBL will always aims to cultivate creativity, to support people working on projects based on their passions in collaboration with peers and in a playful spirit. What we have identified here in the creative thinkers, here in this level to made as a creative thinkers what we identified as the components: projects, passion, peers, and play. Then to come out to the next level of the goal, to make them creative. Then how to make them creative? By with these practice, to support people working on projects who are involved in this project based learning. For them, on their passion they are working, in collaboration with the peers they're working, and is they are playful to in a playful spirit they are working. So all these are the measuring parameters, how they made as a creative, how they made as a creative through this PBL practice. Next, a central goal of the PBL is facilitate the deeper learning process and acquisition of complex cognitive competencies. These two are very, very big words: deeper learning process and acquisition of complex cognitive competencies. Complex cognitive competencies. Examples: rigorous content knowledge and critical thinking skills. Rigorous content knowledge and critical thinking skills. So suppose a course is there, a course associated, we are conducting many exams, many assessments we are doing. So in that, is it possible to think about this type of the acquiring skills or assessment of the skills, as well as the learning scope? Once if you go with this, the central goal of this PBL, anyhow they are working on the complex problems, definitely complex cognitive competencies will establish through this practice. Here what they are doing in this practice is they should not use a single formula, they should not refer single book or single resource. They have to collect multiple resources, and that they should come out with a good content knowledge as well as critical thinking skills. So once if they are at that level, then that PBL practice is a successful practice what we made on our students. Here, why it is needed? A big question students ask: is it needed? Already we are writing many exams, and we are attending many classes. Is it required a project based learning? Everyone will ask. Then what they are learning, what students are able to learn, what? The project development process. The project development process. And that what is included: a problem definition, design process, contextual understanding, and this is systems thinking approaches. All these are the parts of that project development process. That is one part. And what more they're learning: working as their own or in teams, and to plan and carry out different tasks that require during a project. Definitely, this is a student-centric approach, so there is no help of the faculty, or there is no involvement of the faculty. So in this scenario, definitely they has to think on their own way, and they need to work with their teams, and they need to plan and carry out the tasks according to the required project, and their own strength and skills also will increase due to all these practices. Their own strength and skill. Once if they are following teacher or following textbook, their strength is limited to that only. Even though 10 out of 10 CGPA, if they achieved, the student is nothing more skill they achieved in this practice. So here what we can suggest is to improve or to achieve their own strength and skills. The PBL practice is a needed practice. The information gathering from variety of sources. What they learn here: how to gather the information from variety of sources, and how to filter out that information, and how to summarize the relevant points from the huge collection of the sources. From huge collection of the sources. So all these are the part and parcel of a research uh, approach also included in this project-based learning. And ultimately the communication is playing a vital role in students career perspective, so they are able to communicate and communicate to different audiences in oral, visual and written formats. So all these are the benefits to the students why we are going with the project based learning. Suppose if you are conducting a course on the image processing or computer vision or VLSI program, whatever it may be, the course content, whatever syllabus is there, in that what they are learning is only that syllabus scope of the content. They're not thinking beyond to that. So through PBL, they forgot about their textbook. They forgot about their textbook. They refer, they gather more information on each and every topic from various sources, through research outcomes or through web sources. They gather more information, and finally what they need to do, okay, we have a lot of sources, we can collect a lot of information, but at the end they need to be come out with what is the relevant points they need to extract from that whole collection of the information. That should be learned through this process. That should be learned through this process. And at the end, once if it say this is the end of this whole process, is they supposed to be connect they're supposed to communicate their solution to different audiences, either by presenting in conferences or by displaying a poster in the conferences or in the written form a publication in the journal, whatever it may be the level of that communication. But the student should end their practice with a good communication practice. So here, if you go with the characteristics summary, what are the roles and what are the project structure and how that learning experience is achieved through this. These are the three major components of the whole PBL scenario. So once if you go with the roles, students are at the center and teachers are the facilitators. Students work with peers and experts and other community members. Students become experts. So at the end, here the role of the student is center position to at the end, once they are connecting with the community or with the connecting with the outside world, these only the people which are connecting from center position to the at the end. So then definitely they becomes the experts in that um, particular domain. So here, what is the project structure they need to do? Project aligns to the standards. Definitely, it should meet the standards. And through these 21st century skills are integral. So multiple types of assessments are used to inform students and teachers. So in this project structure, we have to define that what are the standards we need to maintain at each level. It should be very clear. Once if you want to implement at our institute, we have to take care of what are the standards we need to be maintained for project. Student will tell, okay, I have done a project. Then immediately, is it meet the standards which are defined by our institute, which are meet by our institute standards. Institute standards means what we have defined as the standards at each level. Next, is it integrated with the 21st century skills, critical thinking skill, communication skill, all those come under the 21st century skills, modern tool usage skill. All these skills are integrated in this practice, are there in this project or not. Next, multiple types of assessments are needed. It's not like a normal pedagogy by writing exam and by taking that exam assessments, how far they achieved in that exam and what skills they achieved in that. They are good in engineering knowledge or they are good in the level of applying. at what level the students are assessed, and what type of modern tool usage they have a good skill. We can't assess like that. Here there is no single exam to assess our students. So here multiple ways we supposed to assess our students who are involved in the PBL practice. I will tell in that what type of assessments are required once if you are going with project based learning. Next, the learning experience, what students will achieve through this practice. Project involves tasks, activities over time. Project has real world connections, and students demonstrate knowledge and skills through projects and performances. Technology support and enhances in learning. Technology supports and enhances learning. All these are the benefits which are getting through this learning experience. I would like to discuss what our institute made guidelines for project-based learning implementation. Here, few of the guidelines. The foremost thing, anyway, these are the standard compositions, project design, and task definition, process definition, and cooperative or collaborative learning component definition, resources, and repeated use of diagrammatic representations for generic problem solving. All these are the 6 components everywhere we have to be defined before implementing what is one of PBL is one of the pedagogy. So here the first component, problem design. So here the difference will come once if you compare with our regular practice of the project work. For that project work and this problem design, here we will get the differences. Here project should be a complex, open-ended, realistic, have multiple solutions. Have multiple solutions. So already that problem has some multiple solutions. It's a complex problem, not the simple problem. Means it includes multiple components to work on that solution, and it's a open-ended problem. Still, solutions are required, and real-time problem. Still, solutions are required. It's a real-time problem, and it has certain multiple solutions, and it's a complex problem. So that problem, the project should be defined at that level. So once our student came to one idea, this is what my idea to implement, immediately we have to ask these questions. Your problem comes under which category? Is it a complex problem? Is it an open-ended problem? Is it a real-time problem? Is it has a multiple solutions in the existing scenario? Just list out those solutions. Like that, we have to ask these of the set of or a combination or a single project definition should be existed in the project definition it seems. That is one type of the standard we need to be maintained. Next, involve an active, in-depth process over time in which students generate questions, find and use resources, ask further questions, and develop their own answers. So in this process, suppose if one student came with one title, this is what my title, immediately we need to find out all these questions. Is it includes an active and in-depth process over a period of time, in which students need to generate questions. What sort of the research questions or problem questions are included in your project? They need to list out all those project questions and find and use resources. What are the resources required to develop your project? What are the resources required to develop your project and where those are available? Find and use resources. Ask further questions, how to extend, feasibility, everything. We have to ask more questions about that project and develop their own answers. For each and every questions, they need to develop their own answers. So here, before implementation of this pedagogy, we had to maintain one document by providing you need to fill out all these fill out this form. Then you come with your project idea. It's up to you. You can take any problem, but you need to fill out this form. I need all these questions answered. If you are ready to answer these questions, then I'm ready to accept your project as one of the project-based learning in that process. Then the project should have a real world context and a real world process. Is they are using a real world process and the tools and the quality standards, a real impact. Is it makes a real impact or is connected to the students' own concerns, interests, and identities. All these things we need to be considered once we are talking about problem design phase. So in this, what context is included? Suppose one student came and he said, I want to do image enhancement. What is your real world context included? What image you are taking and where it is required? In what context that enhancement is needed? We have to ask such questions. Then it needs the thinking of the student in that direction. That's what this whole pedagogy. Instead of providing everything by the faculty or the facilitator or the instructor, then we have to ask the questions and come out the solutions and answers from the students. So here, what type of questions we need to impose on the students? This is what the set of questions we need to provide. Once a student came to us, this is what my project idea. Then the last question is demonstrate what they learned by create tangible prototypes that are presented. So they should be ready to demonstrate what they developed or what they have collected, a tangible prototypes that should be presented. Then only a problem design should be completed. Then only a project design should be completed. The next phase, before going to the next phase, here we have to take one assessment for the students, from the students. The next level, we have to go with what is the task. The project task should be, definitely it should be engaging by, if it is a team they are working, how they are engaging, how they are challenging, and how they are achievable through that project activities. That should be defined under the task. And the process includes necessary steps to complete the task, what suggested as the set of the task, how they are completing those tasks through the set of activities like analysis, synthesis, and evaluation of information. Then definitely it comes under the development of his own idea. Next, avoid the risk of doing without conceptual understanding. Here, that is what a red colored text. That is very, very important. In the present days, when they are doing the major project work, they are just using the technology and they are coming out with the solutions. But they are missing what in that project scenario is they are doing the whole project without conceptual understanding. So here in this practice, the more focus is on conceptual understanding and what concepts he is using in his project process. He is using in his project process. And without that understanding, suppose he is unable to explain the mathematical function which is included in that project process. He is unable to explain that, then no use of doing this practice. Here, major intention is whatever project he has chosen, for that project, what process he has defined, in that, what are the concepts included and what he understand about those concepts. Here, the whole scenario is with a selected project. From that project to the basic concepts of the courses also need to be concentrated. Then only they will get a good learning scope and they become experts in that domain or in that process. So here a rigorous reading of how they will get that good understanding of the concepts, rigorous reading of good quality of text or literature. So the immediate questions, what is your reference documents or your literature? What is your literature or your reference documents? Next, good practice with diverse problems must be integral to each project task. So once if they want to finish a project, then it should have a diverse problems. So to meet those problems, it should must be integrate a various project tasks into to mold into the single solution. The next part of the guideline, cooperative and collaborative learning. Here, this is a student-centric approach. So in the student-centric approach, there is no faculty to give guidance or to provide resources or to provide the required knowledge. So here, how they achieve. No student is expert while reading the course, it seems, at the level of the project. So what he has to do? Here it comes under the self-learning and self-improving skills into the picture. So here the student has to come out with the peer reviews by asking his friends, either in the same institute or at the outside institute or outside departments. He has to connect with them. He has to discuss with them. Then he has to go with a group and brainstorming sessions. By discussing each other, they need to come out with multiple solutions, and then finally they have to come out with a final solution path. So here in this, cooperative and collaborative learning is playing much role. Suppose one project he is doing on machine learning, just they reading that course in the regular curriculum. Along with that course, they want to do a PBL project in that. Then how he knows about that, how to do that project? He identified good problem and he gathered lot of information. He find the resources also. He referred many literature also. Everything is good. Next, how to do the implementation, how to provide the solution. Then immediately has to find out where is my collaboration, where to collaborate to complete this project. They should not depend on any single resource. So what are my free sources are available? Open sources, many things are available in the outside world, right? So he has to find out about the course related, that project related open sources, how to work with that. Any open source or any open platform is providing any course or any case studies are exhibited. They have to learn on their own way and come out with a good solution. Next, resources. Here resources are all the way basic data to study material and modules of good work will be identified. So already developed modules are available in the open source contributions. They need to come out with first what they developed, and first they need to identify their relevant information and then come out with what extension they can do on the existed module, how to use that module and how to extend that work in some other way. That type of learning is a needed skill in this project based learning. Here a big point where they need to understand is aim well and pursue a problem in depth. Aim well and pursue a problem in depth. So here usage of resources and aiming well in all the time, it should be in a positive perspective and pursue a problem in depth. Okay, some answer I got, I apply this formula or I use this method, I got some answer or it displays some figure. It's enough. No, that's not a way of implementing a project under PBL. They need to come out with basic uh, implementation of a basic formula or by usage of a single method to in-depth process they need to be adopted to come out with the solution. And finally, what they achieved in this process that should be represented in the form of visual techniques. So a repeated use of diagrammatic representation for generic problem solving. So what type of representations they need to adopt? A few visual techniques for generic problem solving must be repeatedly used for problem analysis as well as solution development. So what are those? The required things are maps, flow charts, affinity diagrams, system diagrams, cause and effect diagrams. All these are the various diagrammatic representations which are used to showcase your problem and go for the analysis and as well as represent your solution. So we have all the time our students should encourage with these sort of the practices. Okay, I have completed my project, I got the result. That is not sufficient. He has to be ready to represent that to outside world. He has that skill of represent to the outside world. So how he has to represent his achieved results in a beautiful diagrammatic representations. That is what the sixth practice they need to be incorporated in the PBL. So all these are the basic guidelines. Once if you want to implement a project based learning pedagogy at our institute, like this we have to provide, suppose fraud detection using machine learning I want to do. If any student came, then immediately as a faculty we have to provide the resources. We have to provide few resources which are relevant to them. Just go and check in that Sci-Fi Labs. There they provided a small use cases. Just go and learn that part, then come out to me. Then they'll get some clarity what in the machine learning course is there. Fraud detection, they don't know what to do. In the information security, some attacks and something, they're learning that basic things. But how to do by integrating all these concepts as a project in the PBL. First, they need to know the what are the relevant use cases or case studies are existed in the in any of the platforms. In any of the platforms, just they need to collaborate with that platform and come out with some learning, and that should be applied on his own problem. That is what the way a faculty should involve in this process. Let us take, this is one of the scenario of software engineering course. If you take, I'm computer science professor, so all the time I will take the examples on the computer science related courses only. Here, if you go with the software engineering course, here regression testing of mobile application on cloud using Testoid. So here, regression testing we are learning in our course. We are providing through our course to the students. Then mobile application development, that is a different course. So here in this practice, what they are focusing is that regression testing of mobile application. So they need to know about the mobile application, in that how to apply this regression testing on that application. Again, that should be on cloud using some tool. Testoid is a tool, using some tool. This is one of the topic which we can suggest to our students and we can accept from our students also. Why? Because it has a concept, it has a need of the application, then it is using a modern application tool here. So multiple components are included in this process. Suppose they suggested for the same mobile application of so and so, they have given one society incorporated mobile application if they consider, then that comes, and that's what the questions we have to ask in the problem design phase. What society context is included in this, what concepts are included in this, then definitely the student need to provide all those answers. That is what a project based learning process need to be come out with a set of activities or tasks which incorporated with all the specified 6 guidelines. So one, this is all these are the sample cases of the projects of software engineering course. Next, I would like to discuss one full scenario of a one of the university how the Arab University, how they implemented this PBL and how they tested that PBL effectiveness. One case study is there. I want to discuss that they did on the single course. So the same thing we have we studied and later we have implemented at our institute by providing a multiple courses which are incorporated in this PBL practice. So first I would like to discuss about this case study. At this moment, any questions? Any questions up to this part? This is only the basic scenario of how to go with project-based learning. I have more till now. Now I would like two levels. One is single course based PBL practice, and another one is multiple courses included PBL practice. I would like to discuss. Any questions at this level?
Yes, ma'am. No questions, ma'am. You can please proceed.
Thank you. Any of you are already doing at our institute the same practice for single course or for semester level of the courses?
No, no.
Okay, maybe somewhat interesting
No,
now.
madam. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the response. So here, if you go with this study, this is already published content only. So here, what they done is he implemented on one course, that is what image processing and computer vision course. So the first I will go with what scenario they have considered. So the project-based learning approach to develop and teach a computer vision class in the undergraduate electrical and computer engineering program. The PBL approach is one of the innovative methods promoted in the Advanced National Effective Teaching Institute, NETI-2. It combines the traditional lecture-based deductive learning with the inductive learning described by Prince and Felder in 2006 JEE paper. This is what the adoption of their practice in their research paper they mentioned. So here, what are the challenges they have considered at this time? The basic challenges are identifying suitable class projects. Once if you select one course, here the course is image processing and computer vision. So for that computer vision class or course, then what are the suitable class projects? There's a list of identified projects they need, it should be identified, and then achieving adequate student assessments. So how many ways we have to assess the students, and most important thing is student resist to do this new learning paradigm. They faced this challenge, and how they achieved each and every challenge, how they meet and what practice they made. And that is what the whole scenario of this research paper. So the outcome is here assessment results, including the faculty assessment reports and the student evaluation of the course. So we can take both the things for our implementation also. Those two are very effectively they have implemented. Here a few the course objectives, what they defined is the course is offered as a 3 credit course. Usually we also offer like that only as the elective course, and the prerequisite for the course is something so on signals and systems. Students are also expected to have some prior exposure in computer programming. That is what, if they are going for theoretical course to a project based practice course, then definitely they required a computer programming, little expertise in the computer programming. And the course projects are carried out in MATLAB. A programming background in any high level language is accepted. So there is no restrictions. They can do it MATLAB or they can go with any other high level language. And multiple textbooks were suggested as a reference, but no textbook was required as the students could rely on the instructor's note for the coursework. We are, that is what we also doing. We are giving a set of textbooks. This is what prescribed for that course. But no student will go with all those resources. They'll usually the regular practice is just they will take the instructor's name and the ready meeting.
Images are taken for vertical direction.
ఏదో
The
ఇరిటేషన్
mouse
ఉంటాడు
point
ఇప్పుడు ఈ
individual point
వీడు
is
కూడా అలాగే
moving
మాట్లాడాడు. ఇప్పుడు సెట్ అయ్యాడు కొంచెం సుభాష్ ఆవిడ
clearly see
అప్పుడు
that
అలాగే మాట్లాడాడు ఈ టైప్. ఇప్పుడు థర్డ్ ఇయర్కి వచ్చాక
higher
కొంచెం మారాడు
string is there.
కొంచెం ఇదివరకు.
Okay, sorry for the disturbance. So this is what a course format and a few of the objectives, what they're going with that course implementation.
Okay.
Next level.
I will be covering most of.
I didn't get you, sir. May I answer anything here? Yeah, coming to the learning objectives of this course, how they defined. If we are going with a normal course as a class mode course, a traditional based course, then what type of course objectives we will define, and what a PBL incorporated course is there, then what way of objectives we need to be defined. That difference also we need to see here. And here the class is scheduled for 50 minutes and 3 times per week. This is how they implemented that practice. So this is also very important when we want to implement in our institute. So the class is scheduled for 50 minutes meetings and 3 times per hour. 3 credit course, 3 times 3 hours of the week per week is a normal practice anywhere. So they also have done the same thing. Here the meetings, class meetings means how they conducted the class. Class meetings can be categorized into 3 broad types. First mode is lectures, the second is project discussions, and the third one is project labs. So which type of interaction is required? Meeting is required, class meeting is required. So among these 3 types, they will go with any one of the type. So in the lecture class meeting, the instructor presents new concepts and fundamental material in a traditional lecture format. That's what we are doing for all our courses. So usually when we have a course, a image processing course or machine learning course, we will go to discuss about the concepts. New concepts means the concepts which are related to that course, and along with a fundamental material, what are the basic concepts are included, that material we are providing to our students. Next, in the project discussion, the second mode of interaction meeting is project discussion. So in the project discussion, and what they are doing is where the instructor introduces the projects and explain the submission requirements. That is what I'm saying. If we frame a set of guidelines, then we have to discuss. Here instructor role is he has to instruct the students what he is expecting from his project idea, or from his project design phase, or process phase, or at the end or representation phase. What he is expecting, he has to explain that guidelines, that requirements, submission requirements. Next, students also use these meetings for what? Then third one is project labs. So through project labs, they can use that labs for implementing their ideas, and the high level questions, asking on the project requirements, high level questions about the projects. In some cases suggest negotiable modifications also. If once in the meeting, in these meetings, once we are doing with the students meetings, we need to go with any one of these practices. Either we have to ask high level questions. If they are substantial level, then we are trying to motivate our students to move to think higher than their known levels. So higher level questions is one way of the practice, and in some cases suggest negotiable modifications. If we feel that's not sufficient, then we can go with suggestible, a negotiable modification. We can't impose, hardly we can't say you have to do like this. That is very important here. In this practice, only the negotiation means we have to convince that student This is what a good practice, or this is what needed at this case. We have to convince our students in this practice. Next, the project lab meetings take place in a computer lab setting. Obviously, that is a lab in the lab for implementing the project. In these meetings, the instructor job is limited to checking on the students' progress and answering the technical questions that may arise. So once class is there, one class is, suppose a class of lecture, he has to deliver the lecture. If it is a student meeting, then his part is he has to talk about asking the higher order questions, or otherwise suggestions, or otherwise suggestions on negotiable modifications. And the third one is answering technical questions, answering technical questions which are asked by the instructor. That's what the interactions in among student to the instructor need to be maintained in these types of the PBL classes. So here, once if you go with how to write the objectives of such courses, how to write the objectives of such PBL connected courses. So PBL course is to enable students to understand the various color systems and perform color conventions. That's what this is computer vision class. So for that course, the basic objective is they need to understand the various color systems and perform color conventions. Next, design and implement. Usually we won't use these two words, design and implement effective point, area, geometric and frame processes. That is what one of the processes which are included in the computer vision. But once if it is not included, it is not associated with the PBL, we can't write this type of the objective. Why? Because we can't assess our students through our SE and CAE exams, right? So if it is included in the PBL, we need to write this way of the course objectives. Design and implement effective point, area, geometric and frame processes. Next, understand the various segmentation techniques and disseminate the applications. So here what they are learning, where they are learning, they are trying to understanding various techniques which are incorporated in the course and disseminate the applications. So he has to find the applications related to the known techniques in the class. Next, understand morphology techniques and discriminate their applications. Perform classifications based on cost function optimization. So we have many classification techniques. So to perform that classification technique, which one they need to be considered, how they can how they know that based on the cost function. So how to optimize that cost function. So how many cost functions are available? So with that is possible to optimize our classification task, or anything more is required, or any more variants are need to be adopted. That sort of the understanding they need to be get through this course. And design and implement various feature selection techniques. Design and conduct image processing or vision projects using CAD package software. Report the outcomes of projects in both oral and written communication formats. This is what a communication skill project our program outcome will achieve. And these are the things through our modern tool usage they can achieve. And these are the things where there's understanding of the basic concepts are included, then that comes under the engineering knowledge is one of the program outcome which is associated in that. So like that, the set of the objectives which addresses our program outcomes. So in that way, if it is adopted with the PBL, then only it is possible. Otherwise, we can't do any design and conduct image processing projects. Is it possible without using usage of that tool? Okay, if you done also, you can't assess your students without having a certain methodology to assess the students. So this is what the way of the objectives we need to be framed for our associated courses. Next, here what it is included in this methodology. In that paper, they suggested all these things. Our practice is little different. So first, a single course level, how to elaborate the points in terms of the PBL implementation. So here project-based learning methodology is a hybrid approach. It combines the both instruction-based and problem-based. Instruction-based learning and problem-based learning rhythms. So each teaching module started with a lecture followed by a project discussion. Teaching module were all terminated by one or more project labs depending on the complexity of the project chosen by the students. Complexity of the project chosen by the students. So this is what the methodology of implementing project-based learning for the course computer vision. For the course computer vision. So let us take few examples of the projects, what they suggested in their implementation process. Usually, here first I will discuss this list of the lectures what are included in this course. So here the basic concepts which are provided through lectures, they are specified the whole course is with the 10 topics, 10 concepts. First one is talking about the basic terminology which are associated with the image processing, images. So pixels, images, matrices. Next, grayscale, binary and color images. That is what the different color models. Next, point process, area process, geometric process, edge detection, image segmentation, morphological process, feature extraction, pattern recognition. All these are the different topics in computer vision course. In computer vision course. Now they provided list of projects. They provided list of projects. So in those projects, each projects, let us take this is image enhancement. That is what one of the concept included in the course. So this for related to that concept, they have given a project image enhancement. So the original image provided to students in the image enhancement project is at this stage. After applying one of the technique, he has to do all with all the techniques and finally he has to come out with which technique is giving a high appropriate enhancement of the image quality. So here it is given the image enhanced by histogram equalization. This is one of the technique. So at the end where they achieved the higher order enhancement that should be represented as the outcome of that process. Similar way here also, edge detection. In the course, edge detection techniques, many techniques are there. So among all the techniques, which technique is giving this type of the output? It is giving almost the near to the original image. Every edge is identified in this technique. So here, what is the technique they use? Images, the mask corresponding to the detected images. So here, what is the mask? The mask is the what kernel they used that should be defined along with the detected edges. So here, this is what the original image, this is what the extracted edges of the original image. And a geometric processing. So in that processing, original image and detected edges. So if they provide one image like this, then how they achieve that edges and any cropped mask is used or how they achieved that, what techniques they used, what they learned as the concepts in the course, the same thing they are applying on one of the given image. That's what the whole scenario of this course, this PBL practice. Next one is here few objects are there, then detail morphological operations. So in the color based segmentation project, they used some red color based region with some detected with a mask. Next, area based segmentation. So US military coins used in the area based segmentation project. So this is what the input they provided for their students. Next, pattern recognition. So in this image, in this visual, whatever, where any of these symbols are existed, that is what the pattern recognition. If it is the same symbol is recognized, then the project is ended. So how to check with the different signals, traffic signals and traffic signs and how to find whatever is existed in that image. That is what the task they provided to their students. All these are the simple things only. But here what they are assessing from their students is, so here these are the set of the projects and these are the lectures based on that different concepts. So once the project is taken, next immediately the student has to identify what are the topics included in their project. What are the topics included in their project? So let us take image enhancement. So first, if he wants to do that image enhancement, first he need to know about what is the pixel, what is the image, and what is the matrices. So this concept is included. The first lecture is required, and along with that, second one, grayscale, binary scale, color image. What type of image he is handling through this project? So the respective color model is needed. That is what a different color models, grayscale, binary, and color images. Based on the requirement, he has to change from one to the other, and finally he come out with the enhancement process. So next, third one. What is the third one? Point processors. Here the topic is point processors. That point processors are used for enhancing the image. So now once if he finished this image enhancement, maybe he has used that MATLAB only. In that only he has used all the inbuilt functions only in that image processing toolbox. But he has to identify what are the class concepts are included in his project. What are the topics from the class which are included in that project. Similar way, for each and every project, the student need to be identify the concepts what he learned in his course. The concepts what he learned in his course. Next, in the assessment process, project submission, that assessment marks, that is one scenario. Next, whether student is how he experienced this practice, that is very important. Why? Because they consider a big challenge. Students are opposing this practice in the early stage of this project implementation. Now they want to take from the students a survey assessment for the student learning experience, how they feel. They made a 12 set of the questions. So this course enhanced my problem solving skill abilities. That is what our intention of the PBL, right? Problem solving abilities need to be improved. So is it improved or not? They collected the samples from the students and finally segregated here. The questions are important here. The responses we can take from the based on the number of students, how many are included in that practice. Based on that, we get that response, number of responses. But here the course, what are the questions we need to ask to assess our students' learning experience? The classroom environment enhanced by learning, is it done or not? The workload for this course was comparable to other course with equal credit. Is the workload is more for this course? Definitely it more. Why? Because it includes a lot of learning, right? So definitely the workload is also more. Next, overall, my learning experience has been excellent. That's what a student has to feel his own success. So how they are experiencing through this practice, the related question. Overall, my learning experience has been excellent. The course is excellent. The lab assignment facilitated by learning experience. The lab and the course materials reinforced one another. The professor stimulated my interest in the subject. Definitely, once if you are giving these sort of the practices along with the theoretical concepts, definitely every student will like that practice. Why? Because they are learning that course very newly, and if they know where we are applying those concepts, definitely students feels very happy if they find such sort of the activities. But everything is accountable, so if they get some marks through that activity, then only they feel very happy. The professor stimulated my interest in the subject. The professor was well prepared for class. The professor's teaching method helped the learn. The professor was available for help outside the class. The professor about the about the class is the professor is excellent. So here all these one to the one interlinked questions. Once he satisfies his activities, definitely it comes, he enjoys his learning and he come out with excellence in his learning scope, and definitely he likes his teacher, and definitely he likes that course also. So all these are the interlinked questions they ask their students who are involved in this practice, and they come out with a summary of the assessments. Hope this is what the whole process of a single course PBL practice. Any discussions at this point before going to the our institute practice? Okay, I'll move to the now our institute practice. What we have done, the same project-based learning. This is one of the course. Um, I have provided at our computer science engineering department what we have done to implement this project, and what college guidelines are provided to implement this project. So this is basically one course. It holds 2 credit course, and it is having 2 lecture hours. So these lecture hours also again we have divided into lectures, discussions, and as well as laboratory sessions. The same practice we have done with the need of the time at that moment. What is required is the basic lecture is required, or any higher order discussions are required. Based on that, we are providing to the students. So once if you are defined as a course, here the prototype or design building, this is what we are expecting through this practice. This is not directly linked to any course, but our department level, we need to be identify what are the courses we can suggest to our students. As a teacher of this course, the teacher needs to provide the list of the courses which are linked to this PBL lab, PBL practice. So that is what the internal process we need to be adopt. So here, what are the course objectives? Why we have kept this course? Students will try to learn integrating the knowledge gained in courses studied in project by exploring and proposing solutions for current societal and engineering problems. So here we are strictly specifying that whatever project idea they are getting, so for that it should include a societal or engineering problem should be included, and he has to provide a solution by gained by using gained knowledge in courses studied. So what are the courses, what are the contents, what he learned in their courses, he is using in that project implementation. That is what the whole objective of the first objective. Next, domain knowledge, technical content, and develop needed skills in critical thinking, teamwork, peer evaluation, and communications. So this is what the second objective. And the third one is a blend of case study discussions, collaborative learning, site visits, and a team-based semester project need to be performed through this course. So what are the outcomes we are assessing in this practice? After successful completion of this course, students will be able to extend engineering problem solving skills through the pre-lecture readings, case study discussions, semester project experience for current societal and engineering problems. So what he learned, engineering problem solving skills, that should be extended through pre-lecture readings, case study discussions, and semester projects, project experience. So this is what the outcome we are expecting through our students on the completion of the whole semester. use modern tools and techniques for gathering, analyzing, and synthesizing relevant information. Plan and implement an investigative or developmental project prototype through learning. Use research-based knowledge and methods, including design of experiments, analysis, and interpretation of data for providing valid conclusions. Communicate results, concepts, and analysis and ideas in written and oral form. In written and oral form. Conduct an extended independent investigation that results in the production of research outcome. So once a substantial level of the investigation is completed, then they need to be produce those results as research outcomes. So this is what the course definition at our institute we made. So here I would like to discuss the guidelines, what we kept for our CSE department. I said, what are the courses included in this? And see here, this is what the syllabus I have discussed now. This should be divided into the 5 units of the practice. I said the problem design is the first phase. So here problem design should be complex, open-ended, realistic, have no many solutions. So that is what we are concentrating at this part. And here what we are doing is we are seeing as the activities active in-depth process over time in which students generate questions and find and use resources, ask further questions and develop their own answers. This is what the involvement of the students we are creating. And the project should have a real world context and use real world processes, tools and standards. Make a real impact and or is connected to students' own concerns, interests and identities. So here student interest is very, very important in outcome-based education. So according to his choice, is he whatever he has chosen as the project idea, just we have to impose the set of the questions, means a template we need to be provided to our students, whether it fulfills all these things or not. What is their answers we need to be collect from the students. Next one is presentation of project design and submission of project design document. So according to the given annexure process, they need to be provide a project design. They need to be present that project design document. Next, unit 2, there's the second module. So here, task and processes. Task and processes, they need to be defined. What are the identified tasks related to the project and how to, what is the process to complete that task, they need to be specified here. So here the discussion on identification of tasks and processes, identification of course contents to the projects, analysis in existing techniques. So this is what a crucial point for the students. So they'll select some project, but they need to link with the course contents. I said set of the courses which are studied in their courses, they need to be connect these two, right? So that process we need to be initiate at the second level of the evaluation. So at this time, they need to submit an abstract in the provided format only. So then we will get all these questions answers. Whether he used any technique or he performed any analysis or whether he identified any course contents which are studied earlier. Like he will give a list of the things which are relevant to his project. Next one is third module, cooperative and collaborative learning. So where he have, what is the identification of the collaborations to perform the project in external and peer groups. So in both the levels, what type of collaboration he is performing in his project scenario, he has to be provide the details. Next, demonstrate what they learned by creating tangible prototypes that are presented. So what he learned, those concepts, they need to be provide as a prototype. So demonstration on project domain related use cases, tools and techniques. So what he learned with his collaboration, those he has to be demonstrate. That is what the assessment at unit 3. Next one is resources. So various learning resources like data, study material, model of good work, which, of identified, and the usage of resources, and we have to suggest all the time, aim well and pursue a problem in depth. So this is what is that we have to be by asking the questions we need to get more in-depth problems pursuing is going on or not, we need to be discussed with the students. Next, so here research literature related to project from various sources, how to do, and that's part of the lectures we need to be provided to the students. Next, diagrammatic representation. So what are the visual techniques for generic problem solving are available? Whether they adopted those or not. That we have to restrict our students come out with any open-ended, open source tools to generate the different diagrams, to generate the different diagrams to present his idea of the solution. That is what the final report. So either of the form, poster or paper, or and along with these two presentation on that and submission of final project report. This is what the end report of that practice we need to be restricted for the students. Next, coming to the templates, this is what the first annexure. I'll come down this. So this is what the first template here. The first module, once if they identified the problem design, then he has to come out with what is his team and team details, along with what type of problem they are discussing, that complex, open-ended and realistic, which type of the problem they are going to take in this PBL. He has to provide the details, and real world context, what context is included in this, he has to specify, and what are the real world processes, that is what the existing process he identified for the same problem he need to write, and what type of the tools he need to be used, and what is the real impact once if he provide a solution to the problem. So along with that, here he has to specify what are the courses he learned and what are the topics related to this project. What are the courses he learned and what are the topics which are related to this project. He has to be mentioned all the details along with a brief problem statement. Next, in the second level, here he has to write about any problem or challenges included, what is the motivation for his project, existing solution, proposed solution, and the implication, what are the mathematical implications are included in that, and an abstract of 500 words of maximum he can provide as the outcome. So here he has to write about the references. So here the facilitator need to provide how to write this abstract and how to provide these references, and what are the, if he is not unable to fill all these things, how to provide, what they need to provide at a problem or challenge. By asking few questions, we need to come out with the needed level of the understanding. And along with that, this is very important. This one should be provided by the facilitator only. From the department, from the faculty member, they need to be specified what are the courses are learned by the students. What are the courses learned by the students? So in those courses, definitely the mathematics also need to be incorporated. That is what the care we have considered here. Anyhow, students, every student will read the mathematics, will finish that course. So in that, which mathematical component they are using in their project. So let us take one scenario of the classification model he is building. So, okay, immediately what he will tell, this is what the topic, designing a learning system. This is what the topic which is included in the machine learning. Fine. So along with this, once if you are talking about designing a learning system, then any of these mathematics is included. The functions or matrices or probability and statistics, any of these are included. He has to provide all his related topics which are included in that respective course. So for that sake, I have provided here name of the course, topic related to project. Here more than one topic he can provide. More than one topic he can provide. So here the courses what we identified is mathematics is a part and parcel of each and every project. So we specified this and we identified these are the common components which are needed for all the high level process. Next, programming languages. What they learn till now, we are allowing to do in any of these programming languages. So among these, suppose if he is working with Python, then immediately he has to tell about what are the relevant topics included in that Python for implementing his project. And the same way, databases if he is using, then what database component he is using, or any specific concept in the databases if he is using, he need to provide that concept also. Next, designing learning system, decision tree learning, ANN, evaluating hypothesis, Bayesian learning, something. We have provided what are the topics included, course topics we have provided here. Then immediately he has to provide about the related projects. So classification model, we have given a broad title here. That is the project related topic. Now student has to go with not with the same title. What are the project which is associated with the classification model? Like that, he has to come out with what is the topic which are at the project level, which is associated with the course level of the topic. Similar way, image processing. So they are learning all these courses. So we have identified the set of the courses and we have provided all these set of the topics and the respected projects. What are the projects is possible by using these concepts. It's not, we are not restricting any students. You have to take only edge detection as project or feature extraction as the project. We are not restricting any students. Just we are providing all the list and we are coming out with what is your idea. You just come out with which is related to the society, come out with one problem idea. Then here we are doing that exercise by asking more questions on with the team, how they are relating, they are identifying the learned course concepts which are associated with that project. So like that, information security. So few of the topics we have provided and we have suggested few of the project topics also. So on that, again, they will do some higher level of the higher level of learning, what more they can decide. Yeah, I will finish what are the guidelines I have provided to my students. Then I will come out with what are our few student ideas, how they connected from their project idea to the that respective course concept they linked. I will show that one use case. Here, this is what the schedule we made for what is the lecture hour and what is the meeting hour and what is the demonstrations required. So here the first one, phase, 5 phases I told, right? So 5 phases, first one is the problem design. Here faculty demonstration or lecture and what is the student activity or submission. So here faculty demonstration or lecture and should, first of all, we have to make our students understand what is this PBL and what is the course overview, what are the specific learned courses, domain-wise, domain-specific courses, and what are the topics covered, and what are the formats they need to finish in their throughout the course period, and the semester projects, what projects we can suggest to the students, a whole lecture on that about the PBL we need to be give as a first level of the lecture. So at the end of that course, the student has to provide a presentation on project design. Project design, that is what the first format I have shown, right? That they need to fill that project design format. So based on this information, given information, after going with the thorough discussions with their peers and that they come out by coming out with the different ideas, they need to come out with one project idea and he has to fill all the columns which are provided in that project design phase of the document. Next, the second one is he has to fill that document, fill and present. Here submission is different, filling and presenting is different. So he has to present that document. So next one is introduction to case studies. So what are the different case studies are there, how to implement those case studies, and what are the different project ideas. Just we have to provide a lecture on various case studies. Like here I have taken 4 courses. So image processing, machine learning, and one more is information security. So in all these, what type of projects are possible? I supposed to give more inputs to the students. What type of project ideas they need to be considered in that PBL activity. Next, submission of project design document. So over discussion after presenting of student project design document based on the suggestions and negotiations from the facilitator, the student has to submit the final project design document. Next, the second week or the second phase of the content is task and processes. So here the task and process is we have to provide different use cases in that how the whole total project scenario is included. What are the tasks we need to be identified for the taken project, and what are the processes we need to be adopted. That process we need to explain it at this task and process level of the module. So the submission of project abstract is the student activity and the submission. So here then the third, cooperative or collaborative learning. First we have to be provide a demonstration on project domain related use cases, tools and techniques. So each domain wise, what are the tools, techniques, and what are the different use cases. If already executed or if any tools are there, then we need to be demonstrate that a part of the thing. That is only the facilitating what exactly is available in that domain. So then a lecture on one more use case, and here student activities demonstrate what they learn by creating tangible prototypes that are presented. So whatever they learn by collaborating with other open source tools or open source platforms or some other groups, what they learn, they're supposed to be present as the one of the outcome. Based on that we will go for the assessments. Next one is resources, how to search research outcomes related to problem domain. That's also we have to provide. Suppose research oriented students are very new, so we have to provide that how to search the papers related to his project, and how to choose the relevant project papers as the references and the literature collection. We need to be demonstrate by showcasing with good publishers, and that research related literature related to project from various sources. That's what the activity they need to be finished in parallel to faculty activity. Next, the final thing is a diagrammatic representation. So how to write research article and sample poster or paper, that should be provided by the faculty, and at the end submission of poster or paper and presentation is done by the student. This is what the total study of this PBL at our institute. So at each level we will provide like this. This is what the mandatory things they need to be included. Suppose problem design. So they have to be define the problem, gather the problem related data, and list alternatives, list advantages, disadvantages, everything we will provide like that. If you go with abstract, then abstract has the different parts. So motivation, problem, solution, implication, all these are the different parts which should be included in each and every abstract composition. So like that we will provide some rules at each stage. and also we'll go with the whole structure of the work, how he has to plan his the whole work. We have to provide that uh, what is the significance and existing methodologies, disadvantages, and proposed methodology, and how to analyze the whole manuscript or the report. Like that, we will use